So I actually found a good deal. I'm always looking at a marketplace and found a good deal on some motors that don't run. And I'm going to show you those now. $270 for the 2 gas tanks and 2 motors. I did need a gas tank because I also found a deal on an Evinrude 9.5. So this will be a very big help. I can actually have this to be able to get this running. So I paid $100 for that Evinrude 9.5 and didn't have a gas tank. Looks like I have one fuel line, and this one does not have a fuel line. So this one looks like we got a Johnson. I believe this is a 9.9. Oh, 9.5. All right, so Johnson 9.5, Evinrude 9.5. And they look remarkably similar, both short shafts. And then another Johnson. And I don't know, maybe this one says runs. I'm not sure if that's true or not. 6 horsepower runs. We'll see if it runs or not. It has this, I'm not sure if this is like somebody added this or if this was always on there, or maybe they replaced a part. So this one is a long shaft. I'm guessing maybe there's a way to turn it into a short shaft, to like remove this little extension here. But six horse, a 6, a 9.5, and we have that Evinrude 9.5. So I've got 3 motors all of a sudden. In total, I've got $370 into the 3. So, $370 into the 3 motors, and we'll see what we can do with them. All right, so one thing that I found I need to figure out. I have these motors here, and I have no way of really working on them properly because they're standing up. So I have this old piece of, bunch of boards kind of just screwed together. My son used this just to practice screwing screws in, just for fun. And I think I'm going to pull it apart so that I can use these 2x6s and try to make some stands. So let's see. I'm going to pull these apart now and I'll get back to you. I think what I'm going to do instead is take 2x4 and mount it as so. I'll put a spacer down further, and then this will kind of, I'll have one on each side, and I'll connect the 2. That way it sits up high enough that clearance won't be an issue. So I'm going to start. I have my table saw out, and I'm just going to cut some spacers real quick. Okay, so I have 2. Should be about the same size, pretty close. Now I'm going to raise it up just so that I can attach the 2x6 fairly well. Plenty of room to mount that 2x6. Do the other side. Okay. should work. As long as I put these on a little bit of an angle. Okay, got everything on. It's nice and not going anywhere. Let's see if we can fix it on. Good deal. I think it works quite well. Well, this has a mechanism I've never seen before. So if you have the motor down, you can't tip it up unless you have it in forward or neutral. So I was yanking on it and I couldn't get it to come up until I put it in neutral. And it's got a lock down here too. That's what I was futzing with. It didn't seem to make a difference, but I guess you have to have it in forward or neutral, which honestly, there's something funky here. There should be a third. Like, it feels like it's only going into either reverse, and this feels like it should be neutral. And it feels like there should be another level for forward. Either that or else maybe all the way down is reverse. What's it say here? R, N, F. There's definitely, it's not going into forward. So that will be something we will have to mess with. All right, well, let's see. It does turn. That's good. It's not locked up. We are gonna check these spark plugs next. Okay. So we have two spark plugs, an upper and a lower. One at a time here. All right. Both cylinders are sparking just fine. Just looking at these, they're a nice brown. They're not, there's not a lot of carbon on them. They're good. Looks perfect. All right, let's get our compression tester. Let's just see what that shows. All right. So I'd like to see higher compression, but it looks like we've got 75-ish, 70, 72 or so. Maybe you guys can't see the tester, but I got it down here. And almost exactly the same. Not bad. All right. Well, as long as, you know, right around 72 or so is the right compression. I'll have to look that up. We should be good on compression. The only complaint so far is that, so when I do the pull start, the recoil mechanism seems to stick a little bit. Looking at it here, you can see it's a plastic mechanism here, And you can see some of these teeth are pretty worn. You know, when you pull it, this, just like a electric start, it jumps up like it's a solenoid. And then I'm thinking that's just needing to be like cleaned really well so that it loosens up a little bit. It just feels gummy, just like the in here there is this little wire piece, and when you lift up the engine, it's supposed to sort of snap into place to keep the engine tilted up. And then when you try to tilt it forward quickly from there, it's supposed to pop back out and slide down. So it lets you put the motor down. So right now the tilt lock is just too gummed up, so it doesn't really work. We'll try to clean that up later once we get the motor running. But this is also gummed up, and I don't like that these teeth, a lot of them are pretty rounded. I mean, obviously it's working, but I feel like these teeth are, I think it would benefit from replacing this piece of plastic if I can find a new one that actually matches it. And then all the hoses are like, they seem like brand new. There's no cracks that I can see. The choke works. The linkages feel a little bit loose, but I'm guessing they're supposed to be that way. Let's see, I think this is the idle, to lean the idle, the low speed mix. Yeah. So should be able to just kind of dial that in. And, you know, that looks gummed up in there too. It looks really, I mean, it's loaded with grease, and maybe it's supposed to be loaded with grease, but like if you over twist, it locks in. I don't think it's supposed to do that. You have to push it back down a little bit to get it to go back. So it goes kind of past where it's supposed to. I suppose the answer to that is don't really crank it. All right, the wiring, there's a little bit of cleaning that should happen down there. Yeah, that just recoil is just too slow for me. But I don't know, everything's working. I think that if we hook up gas, it might just run. All right, and this one here is 9422R for the model, E12303 for the serial number. All right. All right, the next step here on this motor, on this old Evinrude, is, I think, to clean the carb. So I'm gonna try and pull it off. And I did just buy a new ultrasonic. This is another one of those, the cheapest one I could find on Amazon. This is a 6-liter. My plan is to see how well that works. Went to Harbor Freight and I got it's not simple green, it's called mean green. Hopefully it works as well. I have no idea. I guess we're gonna find out. So we're gonna pull the carb off. We'll get it in the cleaner. We'll take it apart first and then we'll put it in the cleaner and hopefully it runs. All right. So it looks like we just have to pull these screws off, bolts. It looks like it should just pop off. I'm sure it's got some linkages holding it in. Let's see. Pop that off. Let's see, how does that come off? That one's on there pretty good. So it looks like I would have to turn the whole carb to get that one out. Anyway. Something still caught there. Maybe it's just this. It's caught under the flywheel. There's like a little, I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what that is, but this is caught under it, and I can't. Underneath this, there is a screw in this base plate, so I can't, unless I can get this to go all the way over, but it gets stuck right there. I can't get it out of the way. So, how do I get that? All right, so thank God for Google. I don't know how guys back in the 60s and 70s worked on these things. They must have had good manuals or something. So the trick with this, that screw is underneath the throttle plate, and if you have it in neutral, you can't get the throttle plate out, or you can't move it far enough over. If you put it in forward, now you can get enough that you can get to it. See, so you can see the screw right there. There's the throttle plate. In forward, you can get to it. If it's in neutral, you won't be able to reach that screw. And now the next question. So I probably can get a screwdriver on it. I have to make sure that I don't lose that screw. Guess that's what we have that little magnet hickey for, right? All right, let's see if this will fit. All right. Looks like it's coming. It came. There we go. All right. Off here. No, oh, there goes my screw. I knew that would happen. All right, now we should be able to. So you gotta turn this all the way like this, hook it, and then turn it in to get it on. All right. All right, got it off. All right. Let's see what things look like down here. So those are the reeds. So I don't see any damage at all. Everything looks good. The gasket looks really good. Way down there I can see You can see my screw in the bottom. I could do this with probably just one glove, but easy enough to wear two. You can certainly get them at like a CVS or, you know, any drugstore, Target. They all pretty much sell them, but the ones that I find at CVS are usually, you know, one size fits all, and they're definitely not the size that fits me. Or I think they say one size fits most, but apparently my hands are way too big. I get size extra large, and they seem to do well. They fit just about perfectly, like no or very little webbing. So this top hole was a little bit longer than the others. The other ones look like 3/4 inch. That one looks like it's 1.5 inches. That one is also 1.5 inches. So you got two that are 3/4, two that are 1.5 inches. Here's our float. Wow, I didn't expect a cork float on this. Our needle is moving appropriately. It looks like there's a little, like usually these are made of steel, but this one, this little pin that's holding the float looks like it's made of plastic. I probably should get a carb kit and replace this cork, but I haven't bought one. So I am going to try and work with it as best I can. So there's just this little wire that actually seems to be holding that needle on there. I'm gonna get a pick and we'll get that out. My pick set, just a cheap one off Amazon, but I think it will do the job. Easy peasy. Let's look at the needle. There's the tip of the needle. Not sure what that red is, but it looks okay. Okay. I am gonna remove these and not put them in the cleaner. The gaskets, like I said, they're in good shape. No point messing with them. Okay, we have the jet and washer. The jet looks clear. Not sure if you guys can see through it. Should be good. That washer is a little plastic washer, so I'm not going to put that in the parts washer. Let's see. I think that's probably everything I need to pull apart here. Maybe I'll pull those linkages off the top, but I want to probably good to just put a little bit of blaster in it. Just using the gum out carb cleaner. Just gonna spray all the orifices. Okay, so let's see. I'm not sure what size. Oh, it looks like it is 7/16. Not sure if it. Oh, it budges. All right. All right, so this is the low speed mix, and I should have counted the number of times that was turned out. I'm just gonna have to eyeball it. I'm gonna look back at my video and see how many times I think it needs to be turned. Because there's about 20 turns in this for that pin right there. All right. All right, now all of this parts washer. All right, not an advertisement, just the cheapest parts washer on Amazon. I should say 6-liter parts washer. I went back and forth between getting like a 2.5 liter from Harbor Freight that I could get right away versus wait a few days for a 6-liter from Amazon. It was actually a few bucks less than the smaller one at Harbor Freight. Okay. Nothing else in there. Some hose, power cable, a little bitty thing for, I guess we can use that for the needles. Comes with directions. So I guess we just fill it, drop the parts in there, plug her in, and I think we're pretty good. So I'm guessing this hose, it doesn't say anything in the directions. I'm guessing that this hose is like a drain plug, a drain hose. Looks like it probably fits on this. Oh yeah. Absolutely. So that will just let you be able to drain the unit once you get done using it. All right. Said my plan is to use this mean green. I don't know if I should dilute it. I'm gonna probably do something like half and half. I am gonna go ahead and put these parts, came with this little basket. I think that's probably good for the needle and such. Yeah, like that. And those other 2 screws, they'll do okay. All right, so it's already set to 30 minutes. Let's see, temp. So this is in Celsius. I'm gonna leave it at 50. I think that's probably plenty warm. And time looks probably good. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit on. It was a bit loud. All right, it's all done. Let's see what it looks like. I mean, it's certainly clean. It wasn't terribly dirty to begin with. Oh yeah, that got all that grease off of there. Now I'm gonna have to make sure I put some PB Blast on it. This is much cleaner. All right, I think my next step is just gonna be to rinse this off, and then we'll reassemble. All right, the carb's all back together. Nice and clean. Should be good to go. But before I do put it all back together, I have to get this cleaned out. This is pretty gross. All right, so I cleaned it up as good as I'm gonna get it for now. I can't get all of the grease out of there. It looks like there's a little greaser right there, and it looks like somebody just kept pumping it and pumping it and pumping it, and it just kind of filled this whole area down here with grease. And I can't get it out of those little nooks and crannies very easily. I mean, I suppose I could maybe take a screwdriver and try to scoop some of it, but all the little stuff is in the way, so I'm not going to be able to get it all. So I'm just going to try my best to reattach the carburetor and see if we can't get this started. So that screw that goes under the throttle plate, I'm having a hard time getting it back in there. And so what I decided to do, I don't have a real good magnetic screwdriver. So instead, I attached this welding magnet that I use for like lining up welds. And it seems to give it just enough magnetism that I think I can get this screw in there. All right, I think we got it on. Got the choke hooked up. I'm not sure if I have this mix quite set right. I based out this space here on a photo, so I'm just eyeballing it. But there's 20 some turns. I don't know if I have it on the correct one. And you can see by this, it only turns, like half of a. So I'm gonna have to have it on the correct turn for this to function properly. I don't know if I'm gonna have it or not. I suppose we shall find out. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up a bucket of water, and we'll see if we can't get this started. Got this bin for $9.90 something, $10 at Home Depot. All right, so I think right there is the Right there is the intake part, so that's underwater, should be good. And that direction should not hit anything. All right, let's get some gas. All right, so added fuel. One of the things, when I pulled this fuel line off the carb here, it broke here at the fuel pump. So unfortunately, I need to apparently buy a whole new fuel pump because of this piece of plastic that broke off. I shoved this back on the little nub that's remaining, and fuel does leak when I try to pump the bulb. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to spray some starter fluid in it just to see if it starts. But yeah, we'll need a new fuel pump. See if this starts. No, definitely wants to. All right, so got new fuel pump. Comes with a gasket, and it's a lot smaller than the old one. Let me bring it over. So you can see, you know, this one would kind of fit inside of that one. But same, roughly the same width-ish. Looks like it maybe is a little bit fatter. I'm hoping that it's the correct fit here. It looks like it should be. Hopefully all the screw holes line up and the gasket works. So let's get to it. Had this little bar. I'm not sure if this was just meant to be like a little washer or spacer. All right, and it connects down here as well. Wow, well, that just tore. So these fuel lines, these old fuel lines seem to be just kind of falling apart. I can't get the clamps off without breaking stuff. Breaking stuff or tearing hoses. So I might replace these lines only because, I mean, you seem to want to keep ripping. I mean, this one seems to be maybe okay, but it's, I mean, at this point, it's got a bit of that old fuel pump still stuck in there that broke off here. But like, I can't even get these little clamps off. Maybe there's a better tool than this for getting these clamps off of here. Yeah, this is not even reinforced, this hose. I mean, I guess it probably doesn't have to be, but it's just straight rubber. There's nothing. I'm gonna see if some of the other hose I have will fit. I have this. This is 3/8 inch. That looks pretty close. We'll try some of this. See if I can get that on there. Oh yeah, that'll work. That's it. That'll be the right thing. So I'm going to go ahead and, this has the reinforcement inside, so it's going to work a lot better. Let's see if I can get a clip on. Bing. So I was able to get it on there with these. It took a little bit of doing, but we now have the long hose here connected there. So now we can hook the fuel pump up there. And I hope that hose works better than this unlined, unreinforced hose. All right, let's see if this fits. So I will say that with certainty, it looks like these holes do line up. And I'm hopeful that these will be long enough. It looks like the gasket is maybe a little bit okay, so the gasket is a little bit tight on these screws, but should work. Looks like it's kind of catching and threading into the gasket itself, so I'm just kind of getting it started into the gasket so that I can connect it. All right, so we got the gasket on, and let's see, we want it's gonna have to point up like this. It looks like everything is gonna line up. So like they don't sell the old original OEM part. It's changed. When I went online, I found that the pump itself had changed models over the years in terms of what is the right fit. All right, well, that is on there. I'm a little concerned about it leaking only because I feel like because of the screw holes, because of the screw, the gasket being so tight around the screw, I feel like it maybe isn't cinching down as tight, but I mean, it's on there. It feels solid. So now we have to figure out how to get this to connect. I wonder if there's a way to turn this to point that way. I wonder if that's what this screw here is for. That might be the case. All right, yeah, that'll be how that works. So I could turn this, and I could have it go any of the 4 directions. I could have it go up and over the spark plug. I could go between the 2 spark plugs, which I feel like that might be the best move. I'm gonna do that. All right. So yeah, this is adjustable. So I unscrewed this a little bit just to loosen it up, turned it to face this way. So now I should be able to just do a quick bend and it'll go right between the two spark plugs. I have to reconnect that onto there, but we'll do that in a minute. So now I just have to cut this to the length I think I need, and I should be able to put that on there. All right, hang on. All right, so now we have a nice brand new fuel hose. This one's much sturdier. We have a new fuel pump. And now we have to connect from here to here. And I'm gonna replace that. I'm gonna reconnect that. Just got back from the auto store and got a new hose that I hope is the correct one. And I need it to be about 1 inch longer. And go with something like that just to make sure I have plenty. I'm not sure if I can clip it maybe with these. Yeah, that works. Hard to keep these. There we go. Got that one on. I'm flinging around these little spring clips. There, that one went on. All right. Got that. All right, let's see if we can get it on the motor here. There we go. There we go. And there we go. All right, I think that works. All right, we have this connected properly. We have this hose here connected. Everything's tightened down. This is connected back up. All right, I like it. All right, so before I go to the store, I have another problem. This is the same El Cheapo, real flimsy, squishy, not reinforced fuel line. And this bulb is like hard as a rock. So I am going to take the, and it's leaking a little bit. So I have to replace that hose. Open this up. If there's gas in the fuel line, I'm just gonna put it right back in. Let's see. Keep opening that. Okay. There we go. And that was, I don't even know what that was clamping. This is ripped right here. Oh, that's just like dry rot right on there. Wow. Wow. That was just like, wow, that was just nasty. That was just dry rotted right on there. I don't know if this bulb was actually bad. It might be okay. I mean, I got new ones, so it probably... I will replace it anyways. I think maybe the 5/8 works. Let's see if it fits on here. Ah, yeah, that's it. That's the one right there. So now we'll cut this to length. You don't want it quite as short as the last one. I want a little bit of flexibility to pick, you know, pick it up when you're in the boat. I don't want it like sitting right on the gas tank. So we'll do this. There we go. Let's get the new pump. I have 2 pumps. I'm not sure which one will be the proper fit. I think I'm using 5/16. This one's 3/8. Which means this one must be, I think this one is 5/16. Might be 3/8 as well. See, fuel flow goes this way. So first I'm gonna see if this same clamp can go back on there. That clamp seemed good. We'll see if it fits. And survey says, yeah, should be able to get that on there. All right, yeah, that hose clamp goes on there. That's proper flow direction. Let's see if we can get this to go in there. Yeah, we'll get, it's going on tight, but it's gonna go on. All right, we got that. Guess I should think to assemble these hoses before I try to put them on. Let's take this. I'm gonna put this in here. I'm sure this is still full and it's just like vacuum full. Okay. All right, here we go. Put a hose clamp on this end. All right, so I got a hose clamp on there. I'm gonna go ahead and assemble this. All right. Let's see, how much distance do we need? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut a little bit of this off just because I don't think we need it all. And it's always good to have an extra section hanging around. I'm just gonna take 6 feet. We'll go 6 feet of hose. And let's tighten this up. It's tight. All right, that's tight. All right. We now have brand new hose, all connected.
This one needs to be tight. Nice and tight.
So I was gonna do an entire video, start to finish, getting this motor running right, and I ran into a problem when I wanted to replace the impeller. I removed the gear oil, and it was all white and had water in it. So I'm gonna have to do some work. I'll do a two-part video on this. We'll be working on the impeller and replacing seals in the lower unit. So that'll be it for this video. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe, and we'll check you on the next one.